During the tribulation, I saw that there were people who were not people. They were people that were changed. They were walking around without a purpose, and they were not humans anymore. They were changed. They had become zombies, and they were seeking to destroy other people. They would walk around and eat other people. Their skin was gray, and some of their eyes, I saw some of their eyes were black. It's completely black. I saw some of them had different color eyes. They were demonic. And all of these people that were changed were very violent. They were very evil, very wicked. I saw that there was no humanity left in them. They were completely changed. It was as if there was no soul inside of them, but there was like a demonic vessel inside of them. I saw that during the tribulation, there was no food, there was no water. I saw people running around, hiding. They were hiding in homes. Most of the homes were destroyed. They looked very run down. And I'm not sure why the buildings looked that way. I mean, I was just allowed to see, in my dream, in my visions, certain cities and certain places. But everything was overgrown. The grass was overgrown. It wasn't cut. Everything looked like it was collapsing. Like the buildings looked not like they were not taken care of. And the few buildings or homes or buildings that remained that had glass, still had glass in it, or they had a door frame, that still worked. Those were the places that people chose as their hiding place, okay? Because people were hiding during the tribulation. They were not out walking around, okay? They were not out having a picnic. They were hiding, running for their lives. And I could see these demonic creatures walking the earth, okay? Many forms of, I guess what you call Nephilim, were out walking, terrorizing people, the people that were left. I saw cannibalism in my dream. I saw that there was no food, there was no water, there was a darkness, okay? There was a darkness that could be felt in the sky, in the air. It was, I remember seeing it was gloomy. It was the skies, it looked like an overcast day when it's gray outside and it looks like it's about to storm, and it starts to get grayish and, it looks very gloomy. It was that kind of atmosphere all day long. It was a darkness. And there was an evil presence that could be felt. You can feel it in the air. It was like an intense fear. And there was no peace. There was absolutely no peace. There was no peace. So there was no place that you could go to get away that you would feel safe or at peace. I mean, if you found a place to hide, it wouldn't be for long because you would have to move. And this is what I kept seeing over and over in my dreams. I kept seeing people finding some kind of shelter. Okay, and then it would be maybe like the next day or the following day, they would have to move. And it's constantly walking, constantly moving. Okay, and then I saw that there would be sometimes there would be people in groups, small groups, maybe groups of 4 or 5. Sometimes not even, there was just such few people. It seemed as though the population was decimated because I didn't see too many people, as you see today walking around. There was very few people in my dream. I didn't see animals. I didn't see food. I didn't see anything. And the people that were alive and were still there were just fighting for their life. They were fighting to survive one more day. And I could see these demonic creatures walking around. And the only way that I can describe them, like I said, they look like zombies, okay? They were dead people, okay? Their skin was gray, like a corpse, okay? They were grayish. Some of them had very sharp teeth. Some of them, their teeth were rotten. Their flesh was rotten. And they were very dangerous. These things were very dangerous. They were not what you would see in the movies. Your typical zombies that they're slow and dumb. No, these things were fast. They were intelligent. And they could communicate as well, some of them. And they were very wicked. Very, very wicked. And they were, I was allowed to see that during the tribulation, they would be indwelled with demons. So these animated corpse zombie people would be fully indwelled with demons, okay? And they hunted people. They were hunting people, and they would just eat them. There was a vision where I saw people running. I saw 2 people running, and they were running through an alleyway, and they were trying to get away from a horde of zombies, the undead, and I call them demonically possessed people. So they were running through the alleyway. They were running and screaming, and they were running as fast as they could. but the zombies were running faster than them. And unfortunately, the first person that they caught was a man. And as they were getting closer to him, they were laughing. I could hear laughter from these things. And then as they got closer to him, they jumped on top of him. One of them bit the man in the neck. The other one bit the man in the thigh, and they were just tearing him. And the man was screaming. And then the other person that was running was another man. And as he ran, he tried to jump a chain link fence. He tried to jump the fence, and he couldn't make it. And they grabbed him and pulled him down, and also ripped him apart. And in my vision, I remember turning and closing my eyes because I didn't want to see. And I started calling on the name of the Lord. And these demonic entities were running around everywhere. They were everywhere during the tribulation. And it wasn't just these zombies, okay? There were other creatures running around. There were things that looked like they were mutated. There were all sorts of demonic creatures running around. And if you go to the book of Revelation, it talks about the bottomless pit being opened up and things coming out of the bottomless pit. And you have to understand that this is God's wrath upon the wicked. This is God's wrath upon a nation, upon a people that don't turn to him. The tribulation is not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be what people think it is. It's not going to be you're going to be surviving and you're going to be okay. No, you're going to be hunted down. And if it's not you battling some demonic force, okay, these demons that are going to be unleashed from the bottomless pit, you're going to be fighting against other people who are going to be left here, who are going to go insane. And they are also going to hunt you, because I've seen that in my dreams. I've seen women running. I've seen men running from each other. There was danger. Everywhere that you turned, there was danger. There was not a safe place to be found. I just want to read a scripture to you. Amos 5 says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it?" You have to understand that these things that are coming are not going to be what you expect. Jesus said that these days, the tribulation, will be the worst time in human history. And here in Amos 5, it says that it will be as a man running away from a lion. And then you think you're getting away from a lion, and you bump into a bear that will rip you to shreds. Or you go into your house and you think that you're safe, and you put your hand up against the wall and a serpent bites your hand. This is what it's going to be during the tribulation. This is what I've been seeing in my dreams, seeing in my visions. This is what the Lord has allowed me to see. The Lord has allowed me to see it. It's going to be a terrible, terrible time, because you're not just fighting against flesh and blood. You're not fighting against humans. There are going to be things that are going to be unleashed. Demonic forces are going to be unleashed. I want to remind you of this scripture in the Bible. Revelation chapter 9, verse 13 says, "And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which stand before God, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, Loose the four angels who are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, who had been prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, to slay a third part of men." They are going to slay. Slay means to kill a third part of men. It says it there in Revelation 9. It says here, "And they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit, which is hell, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon." There is something coming, and people need to be prepared. People need to be prepared. This is not a time to sleep. That is not a time to play around with your salvation. This is not a time to see if you have another day. This is not a time to be out in the world, to live worldly. This is a time to follow the Lord. This is a time to live in holiness, to seek the Lord, to walk in righteousness.